Hi everybody, you know who I am, and if you don't, you probably should, because you've clicked on this video and you would know that, well, we've had a big increase to our production value the last few videos. The fact that we're using a proper camera, the fact that we're changing up the lighting setup, the fact that I'm not just staring into that webcam and chatting shit for 10 minutes every time we make a video. I'm just joking, I don't chat shit. I mean, I do, but I don't. Now, what I want to talk to you about today is what has actually changed. Because not too long ago, I made a video sat in this very chair with a camera from work that we were, what was the gaming setup? What was the computer setup? What was the lighting setup? Did all that. I didn't actually have a camera at the time. That video, making that video, showed to me that even in this limited space, I can use a camera, I can get it in there, and I can, oh dear, and I can produce a good image. And that was just like a basic shoot as well. No color grading, no colored lights. It was very basic, very bare bones, and I developed it a bit more. So we're going to talk about the camera, we're going to be talking about what we're using, where it's going, what we're actually building towards. Long-term subscribers know that we're going really hard on the podcast. Had a production meeting with Alec and Trojan. Really good, actually, really productive. We know what we're doing on that particular channel. I'll leave a link to it below, by the way. That's going to be what we're doing everything on with, because that's going to be where the podcasts are and more stuff that we're going to be doing with this camera. But in the meantime, I want to go over what we're actually using. So let's just kind of get right into it. The camera, I'll be honest, we bought from London. I went down there for a work night out, and I was very conscious of the fact that there's a big filmmaking scene in London and in Manchester in this country, which is England, obviously. And yeah, I just thought to myself, that would be a good place to get one. So I looked on the marketplace, I looked on eBay, I looked on other things like Gumtree and that, and found a few really well-priced cameras for, well, pennies, really, considering what they actually are. So the camera body here is a A7S II. It is, well, it cost me, I think, £400, which is nothing, really, when you consider the fact that I can do this. It's got 4K inbuilt, it's got steady shot inbuilt, an OK autofocus system, and even though I can't use it with that particular lens, but we'll talk about that later. And yeah, it does everything I need. It's got a decent, it can output 422 color as well, and 8-bit, which, yeah, I think that's really good. Now, we have got some other things on here which we need to talk about as well. For example, I've got myself a little follow focus on here, which just makes focusing a little bit easier. I do have to tighten this though, not like actual follow focus. I've got to tighten the camera into the cage quite a bit actually, and that's just so when I move the follow focus, it's not actually moving the camera like left and right, which is a bit annoying. So I've got to use yours, make sure that that's screwed in properly. But apart from that, it's good. Now, another thing that we should talk about then in that case is the cage itself. The cage is a tilter cage. It's pretty decent. It's got everything I need from it. It's got a really good handle. It's got loads of mounting points, as you can see, and it builds the basis of the camera rig. And it's really important because if I need to put something on here, I know I've got the expandability to be able to do so. That is just on a normal quick release plate kind of thing, which is like your usual Manfrotto one, which is just plopped onto a tripod. And yeah, that can go straight onto a shoulder rig when I eventually get one. And it can also go on, most of the things, gimbals even support them. Not like I'd use this on a gimbal, but you get my point. And then obviously I'm running the rods through there as well, which I've got the follow focus attached to. Really handy. And I've got long rods and short rods. I have got the mental maturity of a 5-year-old. But with these particular rods, I've got the short ones on at the moment. Just means I've got a little bit, it just keeps the build a little bit more compact. On the left side of the camera, I have got a monitor mount, which is going to be a recorder mount. That means I can get a bit extra color going out there because I'm currently 420 at the minute and I want it to be 422. And it's going to make focusing so much easier because focusing on that camera at the moment is a bit of a chew on, I'll be honest. So yeah. On the other side, I have got a grip. I do have two of these. However, when I decided to put the recorder on the opposite side, there was a handle there, took that off, and I think that's where it's going to be because I didn't want this rig to be too tall. bit like myself really. So that's the reasoning behind that, but it's very good to have that constant grip on the right side, and then I can put my left hand on the follow focus, and then that actual monitor grip is going to rest on my wrist, meaning I've just got just that extra point of contact, which is particularly handy in handheld. Let's move on to the lens. We've got a 24 to 105. This is my kit lens. I bought this a very, very long time ago, back when I was originally starting out on a, what was the camera? Was it a 600D or a Rebel T3i or whatever they called it back then? I think that was the same name actually, just the Japanese version. And yeah, I bought that for the Canon camera. Obviously I've had to buy a Metabones for it too, just to make it compatible with the Sony. Though it does support autofocus, it is horrendous, so I don't trust it, so I don't use it. Yeah, and I'm just using that with just however I need to really. It's an f4 lens, so yeah, it's all right. It's on a full frame camera, so it's enough, to be honest. It's enough. Now, you'll notice at the very front of that, there is a lovely matte box. That is the Tilta Mirage. I haven't went for the VND because, look, if I'm being honest, I'm a bit of a purist in regards to I don't want an ND filter on there, a adjustable ND filter on there because of the fact that it just causes problems. It's color shift and this, that, and other. And yes, you can correct the color shift in post, but I'm already doing a lot in post anyway, so I don't really want to be tinkering around and making videos feel and look different from bit to bit, because I'm trying to be very conscious to make these videos look the same in terms of like the color grade and all that stuff. So that's just something that I'm trying to achieve. Now, another thing that I do want to bring up as well is the fact that this matte box is going to be further developed. Currently, you see it in its base stage. I did buy it with certain filters. Black Pro Mists are going to be on this one in the 1/8 and the 1/4 strength variety. If you don't know what those are, don't worry about it. Just going to take the digital sharpness out of the image and just make it look a little bit more cinematic, which is kind of what I want to be doing on both the other channel that me, Alec, and Trojan are running, and on this one as well. It's also going to make the lights in the background just a bit bloom a bit more, you know? It's good. It's a good crack. Also, it's going to have that ND on there. When I do shoot log, it's going to natively put the ISO on this camera to 1600. Now, again, don't expect you to know what that means, but that essentially means it's going to make the image bright AF. And that's fine in here because it's a controlled environment. So I don't actually need an ND in here. Well, as soon as you're outside in any kind of daylight setting, 1600 ISO is going to blow out the image quite a fucking lot. And it requires you to knock the aperture right down to like, say, f14, f16, just to get a workable image. And I don't vibe with that personally because, you might as well just be using your phone at that point. So that's just kind of the reason of getting the matte box. I'll be able to put some ND filters in there. Think of it like sunglasses, and I can really get some more cinematic vibes outside too. Now, this camera is going to be used for skits quite a bit as well. And with the skits, I'm going to need to be able to do whatever I can with the camera. I need to be very versatile. I need to be able to be planted on a tripod like this, and sometimes need to be on handheld. Sometimes I'm going to need someone else to operate the camera, so that follow focus unit might not be enough, so I might need autofocus for if I'm putting someone not as experienced behind the camera. So yes, now thankfully I've got solutions for that, and I'm really looking forward to what's coming up on the channel. But what about sound? Well, with the sound, at the moment it's particularly interesting. I've got a little mic that can go on the top of it. It's all right, it's fine, but I've got to really shout to be picked up on it from this kind of distance, which isn't ideal. Probably is going to be scratch audio if ever I use it. The microphone I've got at the minute it's not mine, it belongs to work. And yeah, essentially it's just a lav mic, so it's clipped to my shirt right now, and the receiver for it's over there. A lav mic's just like a wireless microphone. So yeah, it does the job. Audio is a work in progress. And then after that, I'll be getting the recorder. Well, I'll be getting the recorder, then the audio sorted out. So I'll be getting the recorder on there just for that extra bit quality. Also means that I can kind of view the image back as well, which is particularly interesting. Now, you can also see that behind me, we are actually using these lights now. We haven't used these for a long time. We haven't used these since, I'm going to say, February? Not February. I haven't used these since, I'm going to say at least November, when I put those ones up there, which I showed you briefly in the last video. Now, I have made a modification to this light here. So I've put one of the like mount adapters on there, which you mini umbrella brackets, which you get for the panel lights up there. I've attached that to my Lightstorm 60D, which is just the name of the light. Though it's functional, it is sketchy AF, so I don't really want to touch that, which is usually my hair light when I do the streams, but I've converted it into a key light just by putting that soft bit diffusion on there. No point of us buying the soft box because I'm going to be getting other lights in the future, which is going to have that kind of functionality anyway. Not like I'll be able to get that thing mounted in here, like, but that's fine. Now, with this particular setup right now, it's decent. It's good. It's soft. I like it. It does look ridiculous. However, on camera, it looks good, and that's what matters the most, guys. Substance over style. Yeah, those are the upgrades that we have been making to the visual setup of it. Now, I can't always do this. There'll still be me like talk to webcam videos when I've not got that mic available to me. Obviously, streams are going to be on the webcam as well. Don't take the webcam though. The webcam is pretty decent, and I can make the most of it, especially with the lights that I've got at the moment. But that's one for going forward. Once I've got a bit more of a permanent audio solution, this will be a much more permanent thing. So I'm really excited for that. And yeah, forever improving for you guys, forever improving for myself, and never stop learning, never stop improving yourself, and just be better. That's why I tell myself all the time, just be better. And that's kind of my motto. If I'm bad at something, what do I tell myself? Just be better. Say that, I don't mean that sarcastically. I mean, I do say it sarcastically to other people, but to myself, no, I mean it. I want to be better. So this is it. And make sure you subscribe because I'm constantly improving, constantly getting better, and constantly trying to give you the best viewing experience I can. But till then, guys, I've been Craig on the A1A ShadowsReign YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, shit!